Good afternoon to all, and a warm welcome to the program Wednesday Wisdom. And we are in the episode 9 today. Uh, People will be joining, but we cannot wait more time. So we are starting the program and we'll be admitting the people as they come. So without wasting time of yours, we are starting the program. This is our ninth episode of webinar series, which we are conducting since the month of October. And we have been covering different topics mainly related to transformers, but we are also venturing into other areas, like we have done one program on protective coatings. And today I'm very happy to present you our third web interview with Mr. Mohit Kumar on a very interesting subject called transformer oil testing. Okay, testing per se itself is a very interesting topic because it is very technical, and when you test something, the results are related with it, and we always love the results. Our all efforts are towards the results. So that way, transformer oil itself is a very important material in a transformer because it is, you can say, like blood in our human body. So many things depends upon the quality of the transformer oil and its monitoring, its testing, and many conclusions and decisions can be drawn based on the oil testing. So I am very happy here to welcome Mr. Mohit Kumar to the program. Um, Mr. Before we go into the detail, we like to share bit small information about Nostar as such. So Nostar is basically into three fields. First is consulting, where we are into supporting the transformer manufacturers into manufacturing technologies. Then plant designing and engineering, where we help in a selection of the equipment, technological inputs, layout designing, and many other areas. Then we are also into business processes and support manufacturing businesses into delivery performance improvement and very crucial parameters like inventory management, productivity measurement, and likewise. Then we are also into design optimization and cost support. We have our own experts who help in arriving at optimized design of transformers. Our second activity is field services, where we have our crews of dedicated engineers and technicians, and we provide on-site support right from erection to troubleshooting, providing of spares, preventive maintenance, taking up annual maintenance contracts, diagnostic, and many such related areas. Third activity which we have recently ventured into is providing different power and industrial solutions to our esteemed clients. And solutions include very innovative offerings like fire prevention of power panels. This is a technology which is basically dependent upon a very unique approach of signal gas technology, where a particular gas is released if the contact temperature is increasing beyond a certain temperature. And so the gas is released, and that gas is detected by the smart detectors, and subsequently alarms, etc., can be given. So by employing this technology, there will not be any situation where the overheating of the contacts will happen and the fire situation will come. So it is perfectly, you can say, avoiding bigger accidents, catastrophic damages to the equipments, and also it is not leading to the damage to the costly equipments and reducing the maintenance cost. Another solution is online moisture management of transformer. This is again a very useful technology, useful application for the transformers because transformers subject to the moisture absorption continuously, either through external atmosphere or because of their aging. So this online moisture management, with help of this, the transformer can be keep on continuously dried out, and The moisture is being removed on online basis without taking the shutdown, without any need of putting the filtration machine to the transformer and taking the transformer out of the circuit for days and months together. So likewise, there are such solutions like online monitoring of transformer performance, lightning protection of overhead lines, and of course, we are a technical advisor to Savita Polymers about K-class insulating liquids, that is synthetic and natural esters, where we guide transformer manufacturers and users about the application aspect of these K-class insulating liquids. Our fourth activity is knowledge share, where we have North Star Knowledge Academy and we provide offline and online. Now online is more common. Knowledge sharing events to our customers. We have been conducting workshops and seminars, and we have modules like here in front of you: product design, then improvement management, special processes. These modules range from a program of 1 day to 3 to 4 days, and these programs can be customized to the as per the requirement of a customer. So in continuation with our physical programs, after the lockdown, we have devised this webinar model, and of late we are doing our regular webinars on a weekly basis. Every week we are organizing webinars, and we are inviting subject matter experts on our dais and requesting them to share their information. So today is such a ninth episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Earlier we used to conduct it on Sunday, then we have got feedback from our participants that Sunday may not be the right time. So we have switched it to Wednesday Wisdom on Wednesday. So this is the third episode on Wednesday, and I am very happy to invite today today's subject matter expert, Mr. Mohit Kumar. Mohit Kumar is a very technically strong person in field of audits and oil testing. He is the technical manager of KTEC Oil Laboratories. By qualification, he is an electrical engineer and chartered engineer, and he is also chartered electrical safety engineer. He is authorized by Chief Electrical Inspector to Government of Haryana as per CA Regulation 2010. He is auditor as per IEC 17020 and IEC 17025, having 13 years of strong experience in designing and detailed engineering. And he has been conducting audits regularly until now. Approximately 100 electrical safety audit he has conducted in oil and gas sector. He is a member of IEEE and have worked with reputed companies like Jindal Steel and Power, and various assignments he has completed in power, steel and cement plants. So he is having such a wide experience as such in this field, and especially transformers and oil testing. So I'm welcoming him to the program, and I'm requesting him to share his presentation, and I'm disconnecting my presentation. So Mr. Mohit, welcome to the program, and I request you to put up your PPT.
Thank you, Rajeev ji. And on behalf of Rajeev ji and my company, and I would like to thank you all the participants, those who have spared their valuable time for this program. So just give me a minute. I'll be sharing my screen.
Sure. Take your own time. So this program, when he is connecting the slides, I would like to fill in with some more information. Mr. Mohit Kumar will be sharing his knowledge into two parts of the program. Today is the first part of the program, where basically we are touching upon the various tests applicable different standards and their relevance and consequences. In the second part, we will be going into more detail aspect of oil testing, and the topics will be announced very shortly. Okay, so I hope that you will find this two-part program very interesting, and that will add some good amount of inputs into your day-to-day working also, and it will be further helpful.
राजीव जी, यहाँ पे एक एरर आ रहा है, होस्ट डिसेबल्ड पार्टिसिपेंट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग, तो आप प्लीज अनेबल कर दीजिए सो दैट आई वुड बी।
Okay. It's my mistake. Actually, Mohit ji, I have not done that setting, so I have to make you as a host. So I'm making you a host, so you can share your presentation. Once your
Okay.
presentation is over, you can make me the host. Okay?
Okay, sir. जी, sure, sir.
Yeah. So I made you the host now. Now you can conduct. Now you can share your presentation.
So now the screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mohit, thank you for coming to the program and accepting our request to share the knowledge about testing of transformers. Before we go into the subject, I request you to share a little bit about yourself, your journey as such, and what is the KTEC as such is the company. So we will be helpful in understanding about more about you. So please tell me about yourself.
Sir, first of all, once again, I would like to thank you. Thank you, Rajeev ji, and thank you all the participants who have spared their valuable time for this beautiful event. And a special thanks goes to Rajeev ji for starting such a beautiful initiative for knowledge sharing basis. It is one of its kind initiative that one person has taken. I think it is very beautiful. Almost all the episodes of yours I have attended, and these have been very meaningful, I think, for all the participants. So almost all my introduction you have given to all the participants, although again I'm giving my this introduction. My name is Mohit Kumar. I'm basically electrical engineer. I'm chartered engineer, also member of Institution of Engineers. I'm chartered electrical safety engineers also. I'm having around 13 years of experience in electrical field in design and detail engineering. I'm an auditor, internal auditor as per 17020 and 17025. One is for the requirements for calibration laboratories, and the another is for the certification bodies. And I'm also an electrical safety auditor, and as of now, I have conducted more than 100 electrical safety audits in oil and gas, installation of HPCL, IUCL, and BPCL on a pan-India basis. And as a part of this Event Electric Private Limited, I'm working as a technical manager in their laboratory division. So let's start with the introduction of our company. KTEC Oil Laboratories is a division of Event Electric Private Limited, which is a manufacturer of power and distribution transformers, and the mainly clients include the defense, Indian defense, military engineering services. So as a division of Event Electric, we started laboratory operations in year 2015, and over the time period in 2018, our lab got NABL accreditation. With this, we were the first private laboratory in North India to use fully automatic tan delta and resistivity tester. Fully automatic tan delta and resistivity tester means that we just need to put the samples, and the instrument automatically, without any manual intervention, it it takes the reading of tan delta and resistivity and give us the final values. So in this without manual intervention, when we are going for the testing, it means the majority error, which is the human basically makes majority of the error, so it is getting eliminated there only. So whatever the results you are getting, it is reliable results. And with this, with the year moving in 2020, our laboratory becomes the again first private laboratory in North India to have test facilities as per IC standards and ASTM test methods. So
Okay.
all whatever the requirements of transformer oil testing is there, we are here to cater to the industry. And our esteemed client includes the HPCL, IUCL, BPCL, Ultratech Cements, L&T, Indian Railways, Adani Group, Toshiba Group, Tata Projects, Tata Solar, and there are so many clients.
Great, that's great. Mohitji, why so much importance on oil testing as such? And in what way the testing of the oil is helpful in managing the asset? I mean, the transformers. How does it help user to take good care of their equipment? And if not done, then what could be the consequences of not doing the test? First of all, not doing those tests and not doing those tests on time. Okay, so can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
In simple words, I will correlate transformer oil testing with the human body also. Normally, whenever some problem comes, yeah, for a normal routine checkup, we go to the laboratory for the blood testing. Our doctors, they always recommend ki go for this test, and
you.
in the laboratory they took our samples and they test ki this is the, for example, anything, this is the sugar content, this is the cholesterol, this is good cholesterol, this is bad cholesterol. So the same manner, transformer oil which we are using in transformer oil,
Yeah.
it gives the health assessment. We can do the health assessment ki when our transformer is going to damage, कि
Yeah.
उसमें क्या problem आ सकती है, we can predict those faults. So meanwhile we can do the corrective action, rectification we can do, so that कि हमारे ट्रांसफार्मर डैमेज ना हो एंड द पावर इंडस्ट्री जो हमारी चलती है, द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी could be maintained. So you would be seeing that these are the two figures कि no one wants his transformer to get this kind of fire, कि कोई नहीं चाहता कि उसके एसेट्स में कभी ऐसी आग लगे. These are the two figures. अब देखिए मैं आपको स्लाइड पे दिखा रहा हूँ. I can show you in the slides also कि there are two fires who got fire actually. These are the two transformers.
Yeah.
So with the help of this transformer oil testing, we can predict, we can ensure ourselves कि जो oil which we are using उसकी quality वो maintain है या नहीं है, कि how much oil has deteriorated. As the same case is with the transformer, how much transformer is deteriorated, हम वो कितना एक reliable है नहीं है. With the help of this transformer oil testing we can do this. तो main agenda is oil, but we are trying to avoid is the fire. हमारे ट्रांसफार्मर में फायर नहीं होना चाहिए. To safeguard our capital assets, basically it's a huge investment when we are purchasing these transformers. So वो हमारे assets को harm नहीं होना चाहिए.
Okay. Okay.
When we come to transformer oil, ki what are the functions of transformer oil? देखिए, the property of transformer oil should be at that कि it should have excellent insulating properties and it should be stable at the high temperatures.
Right.
That the transformer oil which we are using is also known as the insulating oil. So in a transformer oil, in a transformer, the main functions, the primary functions of transformer oil are cooling and insulation. Our
Right.
transformer oil which we use, it provides the cooling and the insulation inside the transformer.
Right.
Now, why we test transformer oil? The main agenda, why? Because the first reason
Yes.
I have shown you कि हमारे fire नहीं लगना चाहिए. Second thing, during the operation, the transformer oils are always subject to electrical and mechanical stresses while the transformer is in operation. In addition, there is a contamination caused by chemical interaction with other solid insulation and by high operating temperature. Contamination can be by two ways. It could be the internal and it could be the external. External means when we are going for the oil filtration. So normally a machine comes at the side. So that machine could be carrying the old oil which is very deteriorated in condition. तो अगर आपने उस filtration machine को आप use कर रहे हैं तो the which is good oil which is in your transformer, it can be contaminated. तो वो हमारे एक external factor में आ जाता है. And the internal factor means कि जो हमारा insulation part है, gasket material है, that also during the time period वो contaminate होता है. So जो oil, then what happens that कि the whatever the original chemical properties transformer oil is having, it changes gradually. जैसे हम लोगों की एक लाइफ होती है, ह्यूमन बीइंग की एक लाइफ होती है, the average life is 60 to 70 years. The same case is the transformer oil.
Yeah.
The new transformer oil you are using, ये during the normal operations it start deteriorating. So after so many years, like in the human being, when the blood is not good, we normally go for the dialysis. Dialysis में हमारा पूरा blood change हो जाता है. The same case is with the transformer oil. So time to time we used to monitor that oil, उनकी properties को we used to check whether it is acceptable for further use or not. On that basis the decision is being taken कि उसको replace करना है, reclaim करना है, filtration करना है. तो हमें उसको further use करना है या नहीं करना है, whether we want to use further or not, it depends on the condition and the test parameter and the acceptable limits that we are getting during the test.
Okay.
This is the purpose we test transformer oil.
Okay. So before we go into the different tests, can you also talk about different properties of the insulating oil? And there are so many standards applicable. So how to select or how to decide upon which standard is suitable for my use or my case? So please elaborate on that also. Little bit on the standards as well as on the properties of the insulating oil.
Okay. So properties of new transformer oil. Basically, whenever we are selecting transformer oil, the purpose, but why we are selecting. So the transformer oil which we are selecting, which we are using in transformer oil should have the basic 4 properties. And it is divided in the 4 categories. One is functional properties. The second one is refining and stability properties. Third one is performance, and the fourth one is health, safety, and environment. It should not harm our environment. So in functional properties, there is viscosity, there is pour point, there is water content, breakdown voltage, density, dielectric dissipation factors. Then when we come in refining and stability, it is appearance, it is acidity, interfacial tension, sulfur content, corrosive sulfur. When we comes about the performance, oxidation stability, how much my oil is getting oxidized, gassing tendency, ECT is electrostatic charging tendency. Then becomes about the HSC properties, it is flash point, at what temperature my oil is getting burned, PCA, PCB. So these are the basic 4 properties that my oil should have. And there are various parameters. Then how to select, I'll show in the next slides.
Okay.
How to select appropriate standard. There are 2 types of oil. One is unused oil, one is used oil. Unused oil, it is regarded as oil delivered to the agreed point and time of delivery, intended for use in transformer, switchgear and similar equipment in which oil is required as an insulating or for heat transfer. It is basically whenever the oil which we are receiving at site, when it is in a tanker, it is always regarded as the unused oil. Basic funda is that key, unless until that oil which has not been poured into the transformer, usse pehle it is regarded as the unused oil.
Okay.
When it is being received in the drums also, it is when it is being received in the barrels, it is again the unused oil, unless until we are not using in the transformer. In all the conditions, it will be termed as the unused oil. So for unused oil, there is a standard IS 335 and the latest version is 2018. It is for new insulating oils specification, and this is the 5th revision. It was first published in year 1953. After that, the first revision came 1963, then 1972, 1983, 1993. Then again amendment comes in 2010, and now the latest revision is 2018. And basically, it is largely depends on the IC 60296. Most of the nowadays, our Indian standards, even in the transformer oil also, these are largely dependent on IC. That means ki whatever the products we are getting, it is now of international level, international standard. These things are getting confirmed. And now we come to oil and service. It is when we have used that oil in the transformer. There are 2 conditions. I'll explain each and every condition. This standard gives guidance on the supervision and maintenance of quality of insulating oil in electrical equipment, conforming to originally supplied to standard IS 335. This is applicable where only the IS 1866 2017 is the latest amendment, is the latest revision. It applies only to the mineral insulating oils which has been supplied conforming to Indian Standard 335.
Okay.
This standard is also intended to assist the power equipment operator to evaluate the condition of the oil and to maintain it in a serviceable condition. So when we talk about this 1866, I'll be sharing, this is IS 335. So these are the general specification. I'll be sharing the exact standards. These all these are the screenshots only. I'll be sharing the exact standards. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
इसके अंदर there are so many parameters that I'll explain you.
Mohit, this is not visible. You have to come out of presentation mode and then again select the next one.
Okay, just a minute. So just
Yeah.
a minute. Okay. So this is IS 335. This is the license copy. Actually, I cannot share with all the participants, but
Yeah.
I can show them.
Yes.
This is new insulating oil specifications. So आज की date में whatever the new oil you are purchasing, it should conform to IS 335 with the latest specifications. So there is a table inside these specifications, inside this standard. This is functional properties, viscosity, pour point, water content, and the second is the test method. As per which test method we need to test this viscosity. What would be the apparatus specification? What would be the instrument specification? What would be their accuracy level? What would be their reproducibility level? Like this. And there are some limits given in this table also. Like if for viscosity at 40 degrees Celsius, the limits for type 1 transformer oil, it would be 12 mm square per second maximum. It cannot cross that. It cannot cross that limit. If it is crossing, that means it is not conforming with the specifications. Like in case if we discuss about the water content, the applicable test method is IEC 60814, and it is 30 mg per kg and 40 mg per kg maximum. Maximum means it will never cross this limits. It should never cross if it is conforming with the standard 30 mg. Just a minute. If you say there is a hyphen for 3 for bulk supply, 30 mg per kg is the maximum limit if we are receiving transformer oil in bulk supply, like in tanker if we are using, if we are receiving the transformer oil, and 40 mg per kg is the limit when we are receiving in transformer and IBC. So we need to take care when we are receiving, when we are purchasing the transformer oil. If we are purchasing in terms of drums, like 210 liters of drum if we are purchasing, then the maximum limit should not cross 40 mg per kg. As is the same case with the breakdown voltage, the reference standard, the test method is IS 6792, and there are limits 30 kV / 70 kV minimum. The minimum breakdown voltage, it should be 30 kV and 70 kV. 30 kV is for the unused oil and 70 kV is after filtration. Filtration also we does in the refinery and in factories also whenever there is not sufficient breakdown voltage. Apart from that, if we come around refining and stability, appearance, acidity, interfacial, for interfacial tension, there is no any general requirement in case of IS 335. But when we go into the IS 1866, which is for mineral oil in service, then there is a requirement. Corrosive sulfur, it should be non-corrosive, like this. Again, when we come about the performance, it is oxidation stability, total acidity, gassing tendency, ECT, and the health, safety and environment HSC. HSC, if you see flash point, it is for type 1, it is 135 degrees Celsius minimum. The minimum flash point of oil should be 135 degrees Celsius For type 2 transformer oil, it should be minimum 135 degrees Celsius, and for the LCT, for low temperature, it is 100 degrees Celsius. Now come to the IS 1866. 1866 is the dual standard. It is largely dependent on the IEC 60422 2013. This is the fourth revision. This is mineral insulating oils in electrical equipment supervision and maintenance and guidance. If you want to test the transformer oil which has not been used in transformer, in that case we need to refer IS 335. The oil which has been used in transformer, जिसको हम ट्रांसफार्मर के अंदर डाल चुके हैं after filtration, in that case the IS 18666 we have to follow. Now there are two conditions. It is for the mineral oil first. Secondly, it is largely dependent on IEC test method. Third, there are now two conditions. कि एक transformer which we are going to charge, and the second condition, the transformer already is in charge condition. So for there are three categories also: group 1, group 2 and group 3. Later on I'll discuss on these points also. There are number of tests. There are number of tests which is defined in table 1 in IS 1866. Test for in-service mineral insulating oils. It is color and appearance. It is subdivided into group 1. It is breakdown voltage. It is in group 1. Water content. It is in group 1. So there are some tests which has been categorized as a group 2 test. There are some tests: flash point, viscosity, density, corrosive sulfur, DBDS content. It has been categorized as the group 3 test. So that means there are some tests which are not reflecting in this standard, but they are mentioned in the IS 335, which are required for the unused new oil. These are the tests required for an oil which has been poured into the transformer which we are using. The transformer we are going to energize very soon, and the transformer which we are using for a long time. So this group 1, group 2 and group 3. I'll explain group 1. Group 1 is the routine test. These are the minimum tests required to monitor the oil and to ensure that is suitable for the continued operation. Group 2 are the complementary tests. These are the additional tests which may be used to obtain further specific information. And the group 3 test is special investigative test, that we want to investigate for the suitability of the oil, whether the oil is in compliance with the requirements or not, with their environmental and operational characteristics. Now these were the table 1 in which normally all the tests have been mentioned. Now there is a table 3. I'll come and explain about the table 3 also. Now this is the table 3. Table 3 states about the recommended limits for mineral insulating oils after filling in new electrical equipment prior to energization. The table 3 says that this is the now we are having one transformer of 11 kV, one we are having 220 kV. So what should be the breakdown value? What should be the minimum breakdown value that after that the transformer is safe to energize? So this is the table which defines some of the tests like appearance, color, breakdown voltage, water content, acidity, resistivity, corrosive sulfur, like this. And there is a category. If the equipment voltage is less than 72.5 kV, if the equipment voltage is 72.5 to 170 kV, and if the equipment voltage is greater than 170 kV. For in case of breakdown voltage, when we are going to energize a new transformer, we have done an installation of new transformer. It is not in service. We are going for the energization of new transformer, newly installed. In that case, if the highest voltage of transformer is less than 72.5 kV, in that case, the minimum breakdown voltage after filtration, it should be minimum 55 kV.
55 kV. Okay.
In case the transformer is 72.5 to 170 kV, the minimum breakdown voltage should be greater than 60 kV. The same case is with the water content. For equipment of highest voltage less than 72.5 kV, the water content should not exceed 20 ppm. For equipment of 72.5 to 170 kV, it should not exceed more than 10 ppm. It should be less than 10 ppm. So this is the table. When we are going to energize a transformer, we should refer this table only, and there are some tests only. Not all the tests have been defined here. Earlier in table 1 there were around 15 to 16 tests, but when we are going for a transformer to charge, there are only 8 to 9 tests that we need to follow only. As the same case, when we have energized the transformer, now the transformer has come into service. So then there is a table 5 which defines which type of oil. Now this is table 5. Table 5 define when the transformer has come into operation, what is the good value, what is the fair value, and what is the poor value, and after that what is the recommended action a user should take. For example, if breakdown value, there is a category mentioned OAD, BECF. I'll explain also this what is the category, and in case it is in a breakdown voltage, the minimum requirement here written is less than 50. अगर आता है तो it is in a poor conditions. So what is the actionable condition, actionable action we need to take? This is the recondition of the oil filtration. Normally we goes if the breakdown value it comes below the acceptable limits. So ये category, there is a category. First I'll share ki how many test parameters it has been mentioned in the standard. This is color and appearance, this is breakdown voltage, this is water content, this is acidity, resistivity. If you see, resistivity as has been mentioned in table 5, which is a parameter to monitor the health of a transformer. But in table 3 there is no any requirement before energization of a transformer, so it is not mentioned there.
Very important. Yep.
So it is not mentioned there. For a transformer which we needs to energize, there is no requirement for other test. Like if you see, there are some parameters in table 5, they are not. So we are going to energize the transformer, we don't need to test all the parameters which is mentioned in other. Like resistivity is there, inhibitor content is there, passivator is there, sediment and sludge is there, interfacial tension is there. Interfacial tension is not in table 3, so there is no need at that time, but it is an important parameter that we should go as a laboratory. We recommend our customer that we should go for this parameters also. Now I will explain what is all these categories O, A, B, C, D. There are different types of equipments like power transformer, distribution transformers, instrument transformers. Diverter tanks.
Mohit, it is good that you explain these categories, and I would also like to know, because there is a normally confusion about when we should do which test and at what frequency. Okay, so is it related with these categories or it is based on something else? So if you can touch upon that point also with this, it will be, I think, helpful to us.
Sir, it is related with this category also, because these categories have been divided on the basis of voltage, highest voltage of the equipment. Like if you see, if it is the category O, then there is a power transformer reactor with a nominal system voltage of 400 kV. If we see category A, it is above 170 and below 400. If it is category B, it is above 72.5 and 170 kV. Again, if we go for the category C, it is up to 72.5 kV. So if you see in power transformer reactors, MV, LV application, traction transformers, other those in category A, oil field circuit breakers, oil field switches, all normally comes in the category C. Now there are two things, sir. If we discuss about the frequency, no any standard in the world has any set of guidelines which states about the frequency. It is user dependent. How it is user dependent, that I'll explain. Suppose I'm having a distribution transformer. and it is of around 2000 kVA capacity. It is of 11 kV. Yeah, for example, it is of 66 kV and it is of 5 MVA capacity. At the same time, the transformer, one transformer is installed in the power grid substation. It is in the electricity board substation, which is catering to number of clients, and I am having my personal. So the system which is catering to the many sub consumers, the reliability of that transformer is very much important than the single transformer I am having. So it is very difficult to decide the frequency. ऐसे decide करना it is very difficult. एक power grid के अंदर एक substation में एक transformer है, एक substation जो हमारे industrial area में लगा है, and which is specifically serving to one industry also. So it is very difficult to decide that category. So no one and no any standard in the world. It defines the particular set frequency कि आपको इतने time के अंदर you should go for the testing. However, there is a recommended frequency that I'll show you. That I'll show from my presentation. It is there only. So this is the recommended frequency of testing. Already group 1, group 2, group 3, and this type of routine test I have explained to you. Complementary test I have discussed. Special investigative test I have discussed. So there is a recommended frequency of testing only, like in case of O. O means the equipment above nominal system voltage of 400 kV and above. For the routine test, the frequency is 1 to 2 years. देखिए, there is no any set guidelines that we need to retest the sample after 6 months, after 1 year, after 1.5 years. It is not like that. It is 1 to 2 years. आप 1 से 2 साल के अंदर कराइए. You just compare with your previous results. If we go to the C category, C category is the most common category we normally see in our day-to-day life. It is up to the 72.5 kV voltage equipment. And the frequency says 2 to 6 years. देखिए 2 साल से 6 साल का time period is very huge. 6 साल में तो बहुत कुछ हो जाता है. It may result into the damage of transformer also.
Yes.
Again, it totally depends on the user कि आपका equipment है. You have purchased one equipment और आप अब उसकी कैसे care करना चाहते हैं. It is like in a vehicle that एक vehicle अगर किसी के पास रहता है तो मैं उसकी maintenance करता हूँ तो I would be doing maintenance in a different way. एक दूसरा बंदा उसका रख रखाव करता है, मेंटेनेंस करता है, तो it would be in a different way. So it is completely user dependent.
Right. Okay. Got it. Yes, sir. So I think that was very important because normally people are confused or either it is being overdone, the testing of the oil in the transformer, or it is not at all done. So this is very important. Based on these categories, that call is to be taken. And as you rightly said, that it depends on the use, how extensive is the transformer is being used, and what is the criticality of that transformer. I mean, what critical users are being loaded on that transformer. So that was very important. So now, Mohitji, I would request you to take us through different kind of tests on the oil, including their purpose, what is the process, and what should be the expected outcome.
Okay, so there are various parameters. There are around 10 to 15 parameters we need to test on a transformer oil. So due to time limitations and the scope of the testing, it is very huge. So we'll be discussing some of the main parameters. Sure. So we'll start with the dielectric strength. It is normally known as the BDV, breakdown value. Breakdown voltage, it is a measure of the ability of the oil to withstand electric stress. As the transformer oil, whenever we use it during its service life, it goes through electrical and the mechanical stress. At this condition, it should be the property of a transformer oil that this breakdown voltage, it defines the ability of oil to withstand electric stress and has primary importance for the safe operation of the electrical equipment. Yeah. The measurement of breakdown voltage, therefore, it's need to indicate the presence of contaminants such as water and or some physically soluble polar particles. It is defined as the maximum voltage required to produce a dielectric breakdown through the material. a low value of this breakdown voltage. It is the primary part. It can be tested at the site also. Normally after filtration, before filtration, we used to test this PDV at the site. The user get it done at the site only. So before filtration and after filtration, we used to test the breakdown voltage. To improve this, we normally go for the oil filtration also. The main function of oil filtration is to improve the dielectric strength only at site. So the low voltage, the low value will lead to sparking between parts with low clearances and or weak insulation. And if the value is very less of the BDV, it may result in winding damage and failure when we energize our transformer. So it is the most critical parameter. And the second critical parameter comes in the line is the water content. Water content influences the life of a transformer in many ways. It has a direct impact on the dielectric strength of the insulating oil. अगर हमारे oil के अंदर water content ज़्यादा है तो हमारे जो dielectric strength है, all these are inversely proportional to each other. The more is the dielectric strength, the lesser would be the water content. Less is the water content, more is the water content, less would be the dielectric strength of oil. So there are two types of oil. First of all, forms of water in oil. Whenever the absorption limit of oil is exceeded, there is some free water which separates from the oil and it's suspended from the oil. वो oil के अंदर soluble नहीं रहता है. That can be detected very easily. And the second one is the physically dissolved water. हमारा जितना भी insulation होता है wires के ऊपर में, it is of cellulose formation and it is hygroscopic in nature. Hygroscopic means कि whenever there is a chance to get moisture, it will absorb the moisture to the maximum extent. Free water and physically dissolved water, which is in our solid insulation part के अंदर रहता है, that can be measured by the means of Cole-Fisher titration and can be removed with conventional drying method. Conventional drying methods में से the transformer oil filtration is the most commonly conventional drying methods. And after that, अगर उसके बाद भी अगर उसका water level कम नहीं होता तो normally we go for the opening of the core and core assembly to remove that moisture जो हमारे solid insulation के अंदर चला गया है. इसको next move करते हैं acidity के लिए. The acidity of oil is a measure of acidic constituents or contaminants in the oil. The acidity of oil due to formation of acidic oxidation products, basically the unused oil. जो unused oil हमारा होता है, the fresh oil which we are using, which we are receiving from the manufacturer, it should be neutral. वो हमारा बिल्कुल neutral होना चाहिए. It should not be acidic and should not be basic in nature. It should be neutral. लेकिन during the normal operations of transformer, acids have a very bad impact on the degradation of cellulose materials and may be responsible for the corrosion of metal parts of the transformer. Because transformer के अंदर we have different materials like core channels होते हैं, all these are of MS, but paints होता है, insulating varnish होती है, gaskets होती हैं, तो it is having a very bad impact on this. It is expressed in terms of number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize total free acids in 1 gram of oil. Basically, the unused oil, as I earlier said, it should be acidic free. It should not have any acidic nature. It should be neutral basically. To test this potassium hydroxide required to neutralize that particular oil which we are testing in the laboratory. So the rate of increase of acidity को अगर हम time to time monitor करते हैं and the rate of increase of acidity goes, it's a good indicator of the aging rate also. The acidity level is used as a general guide for determining when the oil should be replaced. देखिए acidity cannot be improved, हम improve नहीं कर सकते हैं. It can be improved up to the some level after filtration only, but it is a natural property of the oil. It cannot be improved. तो क्या होता है कि एक लिमिट के बाद में when there is a limit comes, the maximum of acidity की value की हमारी जब neutralization value की जो limit आती है, if that has come, and after that we need to reclaim the transformer oil, either we have to replace the complete oil. हमारे पास और कोई solution नहीं है if that value comes.
Mohit, I would like to interrupt over here if you don't mind. When we talk about action against acidity, it is rarely seen that the oil is replaced as such. So, I mean, reclamation is one approach which people follow. So, what is the, I mean, after reclamation, uh, acidity is totally addressed with this? Is it advisable or replacement is advisable? Which is the best option?
Sir, reclamation is an expert process. No one, there are very limited few people, those who know how to reclaim the oil. It's
Mm,
an again chemical process. If
mm,
any expert who can do the reclamation at site, then
mm,
it is okay. Otherwise, see the value, how much values has been increased. Take the oil sample, get the acidity value, compare it with the previous values, how much
mm.
it has increased, how much it is getting increased. Basically, the rate of increase of acidity value we need to compare, and after that, decision could be made on the replacement of the transformer oil.
Okay, okay, great.
So further, we move with the dielectric dissipation factor. Like in a perfect insulator, there is no power loss, but nothing is perfect. So always there is a power loss. So the cosine of angle by which the current leads the voltage is the power factor of oil, and the basically the tangent, the theoretical concept that this angle is known as the dielectric dissipation factor.
Mm, mm,
Tan delta also, it gives a good overall picture, overall characteristic of the oil. For a new oil, we understand the value of this electric dissipation factor. It should come in the gigaohms, but it should come in the teraohms. But when it is coming in the gigaohms, so normally we need to check the quality of the transformer oil which we have received. It cannot be improved. It is the inherent property of the oil. It cannot be improved. If it is not good and it is getting increased. In case of new oils, angle is very small. If it is getting increased, it indicates heating, increased corrosion, increased water solubility. If the value is not as per the limit, in that case we need to replace the oil. It is the health assessment part of the ट्रांसफार्मर ऑयल, ये हमें उसके हेल्थ के बारे में बताता है. लाइक हमारी हार्ट बीट 72 होनी चाहिए. अगर वो हमारी इंक्रीज हो रही है, दैट वी नीड टू चेक विद द डॉक्टर. लाइक इन द सेम केस, इफ द 10 delta values, if these are not coming in the limits, then we need to replace the oil. The final and the ultimate solution for getting the good values is the we need to replace the oil. These parameters are also very sensitive to presence of soluble polar contaminants, aging products or colloids in the oil. Changes in the level of contamination can be monitored by measure of these parameters. High value of dielectric dissipation factor and low resistivity of values of resistivity, that they also affect the insulation resistance of the electrical equipment. So unsatisfactory results to a greater extent of contamination. It may not be possible to restore the oil to a satisfactory condition by reconditioning. In that case, we need to replace the oil. I would like to share an example of our client in that they have received they have purchased a new transformer or 33 kV and 10 MVA transformer,
mm,
and the initial value of 10 delta was not coming satisfactory. Like
mm,
it was above the acceptable limits, but it was not on very good side. Like if you know if this is the new transformer oil and this 10 delta value, yeah, oil resistive value should come in teraohms, but
mm.
those values were not coming up to the satisfaction, although they were meeting the minimum acceptable criteria. In
Okay.
that case, as per the standard, the oil is okay. We can use
Mm,
this oil and we can charge our transformer. It will be in the service.
mm,
But what happens कि the oil जिसकी लाइफ 20 साल रहने वाली है,
mm.
it will go up to 10 years. It will go up to 8 years. So
Right.
this is also one of the most critical parameter that we need to test before purchasing. After purchasing the transformer oil, we need to check this value. If it is on very good side, then we should use this oil. Otherwise, we should replace it with the new oil. Either we should purchase another oil with the good refining or stability.
Mhm, mhm. Okay.
Like resistivity also, it is the ratio of DC potential gradient in volts per centimeter. A low resistivity indicates the presence of moisture and conductive contaminants. A presence of moisture and conductive contaminants means that the resistivity normally 10 delta values we normally takes at 90 degrees Celsius. So there is no any point of getting moisture at that temperature. 90 degree pe there is no any point of getting the moisture.
Hmm.
But if there is a conductive contaminants, उसके
Hmm.
अंदर अगर कुछ है तो it will largely affect the value of resistivity.
Hmm.
So in that means we need to take care about the oil कि हमें we need to take the decision also. User has to take very much care कि oil हमें use करना है नहीं करना है, or either we
Hmm.
need to replace that oil.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, further, if you move to
Ah.
the interfacial tension, this is the
Yes.
most
Yes.
critical and the most ignored
Yeah.
part of
Yes.
transformer oil testing.
We are discussing about it offline. So I would request you to elaborate. This is a very important test, but very less known to people like me. So I would request you to explain the importance of this test as such.
Sir, basically the interfacial tension is the basically between oil and water, provides a means of detecting soluble polar contaminants
Hmm.
and the products of degradation. It's in a basically force. It as the name suggests, interfacial. There
Yes.
are two things. One is water and the one is oil.
Yeah.
जो उसके बीच में जो फोर्स लगता है, जो टेंशन लगती है,
Hmm.
जस्ट टू सेपरेट दिस, दैट इज द इंटरफेशियल टेंशन. ये
Hmm.
होती कैसे, प्रॉब्लम कैसे होती है कि फॉर एग्जांपल वन ट्रांसफार्मर वी आर हैविंग इन द सर्विस, हमें उसका ऑयल टॉप अप करना है.
Hmm.
हमने एक ऑयल ऐसा यूज कर लिया विच इज नॉट कंपेटेबल विद द एग्जिस्टिंग ऑयल, तो
Hmm.
दिस वैल्यू ऑफ IFT विल गेट डिक्रीज.
Hmm.
वो डिक्रीज हो जाएगी उसके अंदर. द फर्स्ट प्रॉब्लम ये है.
Hmm.
सेकंड प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ट्रांसफार्मर के अंदर देयर आर वार्निशेस, देयर आर गैस्केट्स,
Okay.
या देयर इज अ चांस ऑफ एक्सीडेंटल कंटामिनेशन कि हमने ऑयल फिल्ट्रेशन करवाया. ऑयल
Hmm.
फिल्ट्रेशन जो मशीन आती है,
Hmm.
देयर इज अ चैम्बर एंड देयर इज अ मिनिमम ऑयल
Yes.
दैट हैज
Yes.
टू बी इन द ऑयल फिल्ट्रेशन मशीन,
Yes. Yes.
एंड व्हिच इज नॉट ऑफ वेरी गुड क्वालिटी. या वो उन्होंने पहले किसी और का फिल्ट्रेशन करा, फिर वो
Yes.
बैड ऑयल उसके अंदर आ गया
Yes.
एंड इट गॉट एक्सीडेंटल कंटामिनेशन, वो हमारे ऑयल के
Yes.
साथ कंटामिनेट हो गया. तो
Yes.
उस केस के अंदर जो IFT वैल्यूज है हमारी,
जी.
वो हमारी वैल्यूज उसके अंदर कम हो जाती है.
बराबर.
अगर इंटरफेशियल टेंशंस हमारे ऑयल की, इफ इट इज वेरी नियर टू द एक्सेप्टेबल लिमिट्स,
Hmm.
वी शुड इन्वेस्टिगेट की हाउ इट हैज बीन रिड्यूस्ड. ये ऐसे रिड्यूस नहीं होती है अनलेस अंटिल देयर इज नो एनी एक्सटर्नल कंटामिनेशन, या
Yeah.
हम ऐसा ट्रांसफार्मर ऑयल फॉर एग्जांपल की वी आर यूजिंग मिनरल इंसुलेटिंग ऑयल, आपने उसको बाद में एस्टर ऑयल के साथ में मिक्स कर दिया,
हाँ.
so you will get the value of IFT different from the original value.
Right.
That is why this is the most critical part कि आपने जो ट्रांसफार्मर ऑयल यूज करना है, आपने वो यूज किया या नहीं किया. या फॉर एग्जांपल जब आपने उसको ऑयल फिल्ट्रेशन करवाया टू मेंटेन हेल्थ करने के लिए, आपने तो अच्छे के लिए कराया, बट व्हेन वी आर गोइंग फॉर द ऑयल फिल्ट्रेशन, वो ऑयल पुराना आ गया और उसने आपके अच्छे वाले ऑयल को भी खराब कर दिया.
बराबर.
From that point of view, this IFT is very much important.
Okay. Okay.
So now we move to the sediment and sludge part. Sediment is insoluble in material present in the oil, and this includes insoluble oxidation, degradation products, solid products, fibers and other foreign materials of diverse origin. Sludge is basically a polymerized degradation products of solid and liquid insulating of material. Solid and liquid insulating material, solid means कि हमारे कंडक्टर के ऊपर there is an insulating paper, there are craft papers, so all this comes into the solid insulating material. Over the time period they get deteriorated. का जो cellulosic formation होता है, it gets deteriorated. वो paper oil के अंदर it start getting dissolved, so it becomes a part of sludge also because it is getting dissolved in the oil. तो बेसिकली सेडिमेंट और स्लज से क्या होता है, इट में हिंडर द हीट एक्सचेंज. हमारे जो ऑयल की है, देयर आर द बेसिक टू फंक्शंस ऑफ द ऑयल, वन इज कूलिंग एंड द सेकंड इज द इंसुलेटिंग पार्ट. तो our transformer के अंदर if you are getting the sediment and the sludge, it can be if you take sample in a crystal clear bottle, so we can estimate the this sediment and sludge also. We can हम लोग जान सकते हैं कि हमारे ट्रांसफार्मर में sediment के sludge हो रहा नहीं हो रहा. For that, the first purpose is go for the oil filtration. The second one is that it cannot be removed with the oil filtration. Go for the overhauling of the transformer with the cleaning of interior surface of the tank.
Mr. Mohit, for disturbance. Please continue.
Okay, so the presence of the sediment and sludge may change the electrical properties of oil also. If the sediment and sludge is there, if you go for the dielectric strength, obviously we'll get the low values of dielectric strength.
Yep.
Sediment and sludge will get the water also, so we'll get the low values of water, higher values of water content also. And the very purpose of insulating oil is the cooling. Cooling is basically the heat exchange. What we are doing, मतलब हमारा temperature हमारा ज़्यादा होता है transformer में. Through the use of radiators, we are giving the maximum exposure with the air. हम अपने oil को ठंडा कर रहे हैं, तो अगर उसके अंदर sediment and sludge ज़्यादा होगा तो it will hinder the heat exchange process और ultimately thermal degradation होगा insulating materials का, and the temperature of the transformer also will increase. So it will ultimately affect the transformers. Transformer की health पे it will normally affect करेगा.
Okay.
Now come to the flash point. Flash point basically happens due to the electrical discharge. Electrical discharge happens due to the breakdown of oil. क्योंकि transformer है 72.5 kV, 11 kV, which is being used at a high voltage level पे हम उसको use कर रहे हैं. It is up to 400 kV also. So the temperature may produce sufficient quantity of low molecular weight hydrocarbons. Basically, mineral insulating is derived from petroleum product, so it is a hydrocarbon product. So due to electrical discharge, उसके अंदर low molecular weights के hydrocarbon produce होते हैं. The flash point is also an indication of presence of volatile combustible products in the oil. Basically, flash point at that point, वो point आने के बाद में हमारे oil के अंदर fire हो जाएगी. So जितना हमारा maximum flash point हो उतना ज़्यादा अच्छा है. But in case of mineral insulating oil, there is a minimum requirement. It should be 126 degrees Celsius for transformer which is in service. It is 135 or 140 degrees Celsius for the unused mineral oil. But if we go as per the ester oil, अगर हम उससे भी compare करते हैं, the flash point is on very lower side when we compare with the ester oil. In ester oil, you get flash point up to 300-350 degrees Celsius also. But in case of mineral insulating oil, it is up to 160-158 normally you used to get.
Okay. मोहित जी, आपने फ्लैश पॉइंट की बात की. What about the fire point? Is it required to be tested, or there is a separate test for the fire point?
Sir, in case of transformer oil, there is no any requirement of fire point. Actually, it is not defined in any of the standard.
Okay.
Like for in IS 335, there is no any requirement of fire point.
Okay.
In IS 1866, which is oil we are using in the surface equipment, there is no any requirement in that.
Okay, that's great. Mohit, you explained it in very simple and not cluttering the topic, though it is very complicated, but not going to too much figures, not going into too much, formulas and methods. In a very simple way, you are explaining these processes about testing. Now, when we talk about conducting the test, we touched upon the frequency, and we touched upon what test to be conducted, when to be conducted. Now, one important point which is really makes a big difference is the sampling of the oil, which is to be taken with a proper care and in a proper method. So, can you guide us about sampling as such? What is the right way to take the sample?
Yes, sir. You have discussed a very beautiful aspect of oil testing also. As a laboratory person, whatever the sample we are receiving in the laboratory, we are just doing the testing of that sample only. Whether the sample is correct or not, in which condition the sample has been taken, it adversely affect the test results also. Even the one of the best lab in the world also, if we are giving this contaminated sample या deteriorated sample या wrongly taken sample,
Hmm.
they cannot do any diagnose for the same. So
Correct.
collection of sampling, the sampling from the equipment is also a very beautiful. It's also a, I would say it is a more critical than testing part.
Yeah. Exactly.
The
Exactly.
person who is taking the sample, he has to take very much care ki how to take the samples. He should be very experienced person. He should have some training how to take the samples. I'll explain how to take the samples. I have some beautiful slides also.
मोहित जी, आप जब इस टॉपिक पे बात कर रहे हैं, देर इज वन मोर final point of sampling which I would like your inputs, that source of these sampling, I mean bottles or sampling, what you call it, in which we collect the samples, where from these things are available. Like if you want to go for this sampling SS bottle or for the injections and all those things, can you help us in about in this direction?
Sure, sir. I'll help in that direction
Sure.
also.
Yeah.
Let's discuss about the sampling of oil and equipment.
Yeah.
It is very essential that every effort be made to ensure that samples are representative of the insulating oil and equipment. Basically,
Mm.
if it is in a big transformer like 400 kV voltage rating, there is in a transformer. There would be around 50,000, 70,000 liters of oil. But whatever the sample you are getting, it's enough 2 liter, 3 liter maximum. On the basis of that test results, you are deciding that the whole
Mm.
load should be accepted and the whole load should be rejected.
Yes.
So
Very
it is in a
important.
very critical point that whatever the sample we are getting, it should be taken with utmost care.
Mm.
Experienced person who has relevant training how to take the samples, he should take the samples.
Now
The
this point comes, Mr. Mohit, this point comes to me as you raised this about training aspect. As a test laboratory, uh, do you provide this training to the people if somebody wants to take this training?
So yes, we do provide this training
Okay.
to our clients also, and just besides say the our person is going to take samples, so
Mm.
before taking the samples we explain each and every point to the clients also ki how we are taking the sample. So
Okay.
sometimes what happens in the case of emergency, if the client directly wants to send the sample,
Mm.
suppose if there is a problem in the transformer and the one of our client, he
Right.
wants to do the DJ test, but we are not
Mm.
having that much time. Our person should go to the site and then collect the sample, then it should come to our laboratory for further analysis. तो हम
Mm.
क्या करते हैं, these are the basic trainings we used to give at our sites also whenever
Okay.
our person is going to the site for sample collection.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
we were having one of our client in Sikkim also.
Mm.
So during this corona, we were not traveling to the remote
Mm.
locations.
Mm.
So in that case, we gave how to take the samples to our client, and in beautiful manner they have taken the sample and they have sent to our laboratory.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in this field also we are supporting our customers also.
Okay. Okay. Great.
So basically, how to take the samples? When we take to the samples, there are three categories. Like if we are taking the samples of an energized transformer which is already in the service, so we should take the samples at a normal operating conditions.
Mm.
Normal operating conditions means my transformer is operating at 40% of load, 50% of load. At the same condition, I should take the sample. So whatever the gas is, whatever
Mm.
the parameters that the oil should is having,
Mm.
in the same condition it should come to the laboratory for the further analysis so as to ascertain the exact condition of oil which is
Mm.
in the transformer basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Very.
example, if your transformer is in de-energized condition, तो जितना जल्दी हो सके as shortly as possible we should
Mm.
take the sample.
Mm.
क्या होता है कि gases starts removing from the oil, वो
Mm.
air के अंदर through diffusion it start going. तो
Mm.
हमें क्या होता है कि the maximum जितना जल्दी we used to take sample ना, तो उतना ही अच्छा results हम लोगों को we used to see in our testing program also.
Okay. Uh, Mohitji, I would request, I forgot to request people. We are reaching towards end of our program. So if you have some questions, you can put it in the chat box. And after this interview, we will be taking those questions. And I would request Mr. Mohit to answer those questions. So if you have any questions, kindly put them in the chat box. Yes, Mr. Mohit, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay, sir. Now next is the image. Sir, image is visible to everyone?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So from this image, the reference standard for sampling is 6855. It is it is sampling method for insulating liquids karke. So basically this is the transformer part. If you say this fifth is the drain valve, further I explain what is the drain valve, where is the sampling point, how to take the samples, that every procedure I will mention in my other further slides also.
Oh.
This fifth is the drain valve and this 11 point is, so this cursor is also visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Visible. This is the flange part. This is flexible tubing with valve at location number 2. This is our sampling bottle. Again, it's in a flexible tubing. It's with the valve, and this is the 3, and this is the 7 is the waste container. Basically, okay, whenever we want to take the sample, this is the example of using SS bottle for taking a sample. We first need to do identification of sampling point, from where we need to take the samples. In most of the cases, we found that manufacturer defines a sampling point on the transformer tank. This is the sampling point. It is normally near the drain valve or at the bottom side of the transformer. So right, there is an identification provided all the time. It's in a sampling point. So as per the manufacturer recommendation, we need to take the sample from the sampling point only. Whenever sampling point is not available, we need to take the sample from the drain valve. In case of bushing also, when drain valve is not there, then we need to refer the manufacturer guidelines how to take the sample from a bushing, as there is a very limited quantity of oil isn't there. Yeah. So we have to ensure one more thing. ऐसा नहीं कि we are taking the samples और उसके बाद में the oil level of the bushing, oil level of the transformer is going below the acceptable level और उसमें कुछ fault आना शुरू हो जाए. तो that also we need to take care during sampling. Yes. During sampling of oil, precaution should be taken to deal with any sudden release of oil and avoid oil spillage, as this mineral insulating are not environmental friendly. So we need to take care to avoid any oil spillages or sudden oil release. Like कि हमने पूरा का पूरा flange एक साथ open कर दिया, तो all of a sudden the oil will come within a pressure. So we should ensure that it should not come within a sudden release of oil. Cleaning of sampling point and flushing of sampling point to prevent contamination of samples. What happens? Flange के आसपास हमारे पास there are visible impurities, visible contaminants. कुछ उसके ऊपर seepage है बहुत minor सा, कुछ आके oil dirt उसके ऊपर पूरा collect हो गया है. तो before taking the sample, we should clean the sampling point. उसका जो orifice होता है, outlet होता है, we should make it clean with the lint free cloth, या आप उसको synthetic sponge से भी आप जो visible impurities है आप वहाँ उसको clean कर सकते हैं. With the help of cotton cloth also we should clean that sampling point. जो flange होती है flange को पूरा clean करना है, and the inside portion of orifice we should clean with the cloth. And after that, drain valve is flushed with sufficient quantity of oil, 2 liter to 5 liter. It again depends on user, but the standard suggests us to flush 2 liter to 5 liter. In case if we are taking sample from a transformer, it is 7 to 10 liter when we are taking a sample from the container. Okay. Like oil tankers we are having at most of the sites for a big project. Normally the oil is supplied into a oil tanker of 10 kl, 20 kl, 50 kl. There are different chambers of 5 kl. In that case, after cleaning the flange part, inside orifice part, we need to flush around 7 to 10 liters of oil. There is a quantity, there is a complete procedure mentioned in IS 6855, which is again largely dependent on the IC 60475. तो आपको 2 से 5 लीटर के लिए आपको ऑयल को पूरा फ्लश करना है, सो दैट उसके बाद में आपको ऑयल के सैंपल को लेना है. कैसे लेना है? Point number 5 say we need to open the flange. We have to ensure that the sudden release of oil should not happen there. After that, open this 2 number valve. The oil will go through this sampling bottle, and through this point it will come into the oil basket. This point number 7. Let the oil flush 2 to 5 liter. 2 to 5 liter flush होने के बाद में just close this point 2 at point number 2, close this point number 2, and after that close this 5 number point. So 2 से 5 लीटर के अंदर आपका ऑयल जो वेस्ट बिन के अंदर चला गया, it is discarded. आपको उसको discard करना है, and the exact sample which you want to test, it will come in your this sampling bottle. So when it is completely full of oil, there is no any chances of moisture, there is no air inside this. Uske baad mein this valve number 2 we need to close, and this valve number 2 we need to close, and we need to transport this bottle into the laboratory for further analysis. Always use protection gloves and a bucket of waste oil. The sampling point should be cleaned each time a new sample of oil is taken. For measuring water content in oil, sampling should be carried out preferably during days when the humidity of air is as low as possible to prevent moisture condensation on sampling equipment and contamination of oil sample. देखिए the acceptable limit for a large transformer of above 72.5 kV is 10 ppm, and 10 ppm is a very much less parameter. Yeah. We have to ensure that during sampling हमारा ऑयल कंटामिनेट नहीं होना चाहिए फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड मॉइस्चर जो हमारे एयर के अंदर प्रेजेंट है. तो वी हैव टू एंश्योर दैट कि हमें वो रेनी सीजन में नहीं लेना है. हमें सैंपल कभी ऐसी सिचुएशन में भी नहीं लेना है जब बहुत तेज हवा चल रही हो, व्हेन देयर इज a good flow of air. So all this condition we need to take care. Okay. And the most important thing is that the use of plastic bottle is not permitted for DGA water and dielectric strength. Most of our clients, they always talk about this plastic bottle ki that we don't have any SS and this aluminum bottles. So can we use plastic bottles? The use of plastic bottle is not permitted as per relevant Indian standard, since ambient air contamination and gas losses may occur by diffusion through the plastic. But for the other parameters like tan delta, oil resistivity, pour point, density, viscosity, plastic bottle is advisable. Plastic bottle, use of plastic bottle is permitted, provided that it is compatible with the oil. Like high density polyethylene plastic bottle, if we are using, it is compatible with the insulating oil, so we can use for rest of the parameters. But especially for the DGA water and dielectric strength, plastic bottle is not recommended. There is one table also which is provided in IS 6855, sample containers for oil test. If you want to go for the dissolved gas analysis, syringe, we need to take sample in syringe, flexible bottle of metals, then bottles of glasses, and the oil quantity. How much oil quantity is required? It is 25 to 100 ml. For in case of water, up syringe mein you can take the sample. In flexible bottles of metal, we can take the sample. In glass bottles with amber color, so that ki wo sun radiations mein uspe effect nahi hota hai. So if we are using glass bottle, it should be of amber color. So this is the table, and this is the quantity, how much oil is required for testing all the parameters. See, if we need to go for the all test, so the recommended quantity is 1000 ml to 2000 ml. That means a sample of 2 liter is very much required for testing all the parameters.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
It is one point is also mentioned in the standard: metal or plastic containers may be preferred. The plastic containers may be preferred with adequate protection of glass container is not available for the transportation of oil samples. If we are using syringes for the oil samples, so transportation is a big hurdle. In transportation, we need to take extra care. If we are taking sample in the glass bottle, so in transportation we need to take care the extra care for this glass bottle, so that कि हमारा sample ही खराब नहीं होना चाहिए, वो bottle ही break नहीं होना चाहिए. So in that case, metal or plastic containers they may be preferred. But in case this for the DGA, water and BDB, it is not recommended. We need to take care. It's all about this sample.
So it was a very wonderful information, Mohitji, which you have shared with us. And before we go into the question and answer session, can you elaborate about a little bit about part two, which we are going to conduct in a short while, maybe after 2 weeks or so. What would be you will be covering in the part two of your program as such? In a brief, if you can share.
Sir, as we have seen in the IS 335, which is for technical specification for the unused oil, and IS 1866, there are a lot of parameters that we need to test. So in this program, we have discussed only 7 to 8 parameters. So rest of the parameters like dissolved gas analysis, viscosity, density, power point, that all we will be discussing in our next program.
Okay, that would be wonderful, and we are looking forward to that program, Mr. Mohit. And I really thankful for you to that you have taken so much pain. Actually, I know how difficult to prepare a presentation, and every slide, every single slide requires a lot of information gathering, research, and putting the information in a proper way, which is easily explainable to the people. So I've been making a lot of presentations, so I can understand the kind of pain it goes into it. And you have taken all that pain in and made this such a beautiful presentation, such a simple presentation, which was very, easy to connect with the topic. And personally, I really enjoyed with interacting you on the subject. So if I don't see any questions in the chat box as such, but if somebody is having any questions, they can ask. Yeah, one comment is there. Okay, it's a compliment that it's very great session. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So it's a chat box. There are no questions. If somebody is having a question, they can ask. Okay, in the chat box you can find the details of Mr. Mohit Kumar, and if you want to interact with him directly, you can use the phone number and email ID provided in the chat box. Please do use it and make a wonderful use of the information and knowledge and the facility which they have. It is based in Bahadurgarh, Mohit Kumar.
If I'm right. We are based in Bahadurgarh. It is in Delhi NCR.
It is in Delhi NCR. Okay.
Delhi NCR.
Yeah. And before we close today's session, in front of you is the next episode, which is again on the transformer oil, and it is coming from Dr. Milind Vaidya. He is the Chief Technology Officer, Savita Oil Technologies Limited, a PhD in chemistry, and he has done around 23 years of experience he's having in the field of various kind of chemical activities, and he has got 3 global patents. So next Wednesday, he will be our guest, and he'll be sharing a different angle of mineral oils. So a lot of information on oil we are going to put on this platform, so that a very interesting kind of coverage of this very, very important material in the transformer, mineral oil, is going to happen. So thank you so much for to all the people and all the participants who have come in the program, and we are happy that we are able to find regular visitors, regular participants to this program. That is a testimony of efforts what we are making, and to make further things easier and approachable, we also have our YouTube channel. This is the link over there, so you can go to the channel and you can watch these videos. We put recording of the programs on our channel for the later use by our participants. Of course, all the recordings are not put because it depends upon the permissions from our guest, and based on that we put up the videos on the YouTube. I'm very thankful to Mr. Mohit Kumar that he has contested to upload this program of today on the YouTube, and we'll be doing it very shortly. So that will be available for any time. You can go to it and you can play and take advantage of the information which has been shared by Mr. Mohit Kumar. So thank you so much, Mohit and coming to our program. And thanks all to our participants and our distinguished friends to come on the platform. I request all of you that if you wish to share the information related to your field, you are most welcome. In registration form, we do have a section of that kind so that you can register. I mean, you can talk about that and use this platform to give benefit to the society, to the engineers, young engineers, so that they can get the knowledge in a more, you can say, not formal way, but more constructive way through this platform. So that is the purpose of having these webinars on so regularly, almost on every week we are conducting it. So thank you so much. See you on next Wednesday. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you. See
Thank you,
you
Rajiv.
in our program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.